Okay, for reals is this time.
For
It's
reals,
filming
yes.
and you should do your thumbnails.
Thumbnails, okay. That works, I think. We'll do one with a hand just as well.
Do one while you're miming giving a blowjob. Yeah, that'll be the pick. Yeah.
Alright. Hello everyone. Hello everyone, James Stephanie Sterling, intimidating tits, non-threatening penis. Now this week I have been told by many people that I should not be playing Dark Souls, which is interesting because I really like it. Bloodborne is my second favourite game after Silent Hill. I was on board with all that shit back in the OG Demon Souls days. Not that I think, bragging about one's gaming credentials is all that important. One should brag about things that took actual effort and skill to achieve, like my massive milkers. But there are a lot of people that tie their sense of self to their skill at games, and that's why I have been fielding a lot of discourse from people on social media about how I should get good, because people still say that unironically in the year of our Luigi 2022. One thing I have learned in a week of very interesting discussion that we will be talking about is that you do not joke about Dark Souls easy modes. You absolutely do not fucking joke. It was a joke. It was a fucking joke. It was a simple joke, really, about the much prophesied downfall of Twitter. But I should have learned by now that there are some things you just don't joke about. You don't joke about tragedies, you don't joke about abuse, and you sure as shit don't joke about difficulty modes in Dark Souls, perhaps the touchiest, most sensitive, least trivial subject in the entire fucking history of human discourse.
One of these musicians suffers from diarrhea.
So yeah, billionaire fascist and insecure man-child Elon Musk has bought Twitter and run it into the ground, either out of vicious malice or the kind of incompetence that's allowed him to fail upwards all his life. As a result, people are tolling Twitter's bell. Many believe the genuinely staggering number of sudden and in some cases illegal layoffs have left the site with too few experienced people to function for long. These layoffs certainly made it way more of a massive security risk, and functions have been dying off without the relevant engineers to maintain them. Some wonder indeed if Elon's Twitter will last even as long as Liz Truss's career as Prime Minister. I can't say I feel Twitter will die per se, but I do think it'll get steadily less usable, at least depending on who you are. I mean, they basically removed any harassment policies regarding trans people, and Elon, my daughter transitioned and I have to make it everyone's problem Musk, is about to initiate a massive unbanning, allowing some of the worst harassers, hate mongers and general cunts back to make everybody miserable who isn't a crypto scammer, gender critical dickhead or neo-Nazi. So yeah, not a great future for the platform, whether it literally dies or suffers a more symbolic demise. At least we can have fun with it though, right? At least that's what I thought on the night everybody else was writing eulogies, reminiscing about classic tweets, and otherwise preparing for Twitter's end in as amusing a fashion as possible. Frankly, I thought I had a doozy. Oh, they'll get a kick out of this, I thought in my childish naivety. If Twitter is on the verge of collapse, let's do it one more time, I tweeted, ready to publish the goof of the century. It would be fine if Dark Souls had an easy mode. Yeah. I figured it'd be a good little gag about Twitter's end, a callback to a decade-long gaming debate that surely everyone would take as a giggle about Twitter and not a controversial invite to be retweeted nearly 3,000 times and attract so many outraged replies that my mentions became unusable for days and was still full of bitter debate even a week later. God fucking damn. I hate gamer discourse. 10 years after I first said I'd be fine with Dark Souls having an easy mode, not demanding it have one, just saying if it had one it wouldn't be the end of the world, and that same tepid statement still inspires the gaming gatekeepers and worst of the Souls fandom to act like I dug up their granddads and fucked their cadavers till they fell apart. Like, it's amazing how even now, simply suggesting you wouldn't be offended by an easy mode will in turn completely offend the gamers TM, who will perceive a slight against the game on which they've hung their self-esteem, who will act as if you made demands of From Software. The pearl clutching is really quite embarrassing, especially because their upset pressure sensitivity is communicated as if I'm the snowflake. And half of these offended status quo warriors are barely even making any sense. Funny how all these epic video games are art YouTubers also happen to be the ones who completely ignore artistic intent just to start brigading in favour of making every single gaming experience look and feel like the typical pre-regurgitated half-assed AAA garbage. That was all one sentence, by the way. Nobody would tell Stanley Kubrick he should have had a narrator explain everything during 2001: A Space Odyssey to make it more accessible. Again, I didn't say FromSoft had to do anything, but this nuance has never been understood by a single one of these people. No, it wouldn't. Go get better or go somewhere and cry about it, said someone who totally wouldn't know anything about crying. Stop being entitled, and don't claim it's under the name of accessibility when we already know Souls games are inaccessible for other reasons. Yeah, 50% of the fucking fan base makes it inaccessible. No, it wouldn't. It would detract from the game. Why are bad opinions on this site always a package deal? Why, if someone thinks Souls should have an easy mode, it is virtually a given that there will be pronouns in bio? This leads me to think, why is it always a package deal? Why do people who always complain about pronouns in bio turn out to be such little bitches? You are an awful human being if you agree with this take. Wow. Pussy. Wow. I think it's okay that some games have pay-to-win microtransactions. Fucking hell. That's just a selection of absurd quote tweets pulled without much searching. Obviously, I've not included the ones who resorted to transphobic attacks because they're not funny so much as wretchedly, spinelessly pathetic. I do love the several takes that claim my tweet was evidence that I've fallen off in recent years, despite my first saying this over 10 years ago and maintaining that rather laid-back stance ever since. Funny the amount of things, just the sheer volume of things that prove I fell off or became mentally unstable around February 2021, just things I've always done. The less insulting and or tear-stricken replies go over the same old shit. Respect the artist's vision. Accept that not all games are made for everybody. It already has an easy mode. It's called Co-op, Magic, Dex, or whatever else I think is for casuals. Overall, my past week and change is full of very normal, very rational people who had a proportionate response to me, a person who loves the Souls games as they are, and simply thinks easy mode's existence would be fine by me, because I wouldn't play it. Yes, saying that opinion makes me a bad person is very normal indeed. Interesting how there's a ton of people saying, if Dark Souls is hard, just don't play it, and they're all failing to acknowledge that if it had an easy mode and they didn't like it, they could, you know, just not play it. Really though, I'm not interested in having this dumb fucking debate all over again. I could point out how many people who cry artist vision seem to have no respect for it when a game includes an LGBTQ+ character, or media dares to have some black elves. I could mention how the elitist statement of games aren't made for everyone seems to come from people who have a real problem with more folks enjoying something, but honestly, that's not the point here. I've gone over this shit so many times, I'm not here to have another fucking easy mode discussion. I never was looking for one. Hell, I wasn't even trying to be controversial. Not this time. I've seen the Gamers TM getting mocked for taking the bait in my replies, but I wasn't laying bait. I thought they could have a sense of fucking humour about it. The fact I've been able to turn their nonsense into content is just a happy byproduct. I wasn't trying to trick anyone into showing their ass, they just pulled their pants down of their own accord. I know many of you won't believe this, but it wasn't a setup. It wasn't an attempt to outrage the gamers TM. It certainly wasn't an invitation for a bunch of morons to pretend I said something and get pissed off at me over a statement they made up in their heads. Look, I don't fucking care if Dark Souls has an easy mode. I don't fucking care that it doesn't. I think it'd be fine if Dark Souls had an easy mode because I just wouldn't fucking play it. It literally wouldn't bother me. That mere concept bothers others to such a degree that they dogpile and attack people who aren't bothered enough is, well, it's just not fucking reasonable.
If you like a lot of calm on your biscuit, join our club. If you like a lot of on your biscuit, join our club. If you like a lot of come on your biscuit, join our. If you like a lot of come together.
Say what you will about game difficulty, but a week full of angry harassment over a milquetoast take framed in a light-hearted context indicates exactly how unnecessarily toxic the entire debate is. It brings out so much fucking spite. And over what? More people buying a game these people claim to love? A version of it existing that they'd never have to touch? It's fucking unhinged. If ever the phrase touch some grass had an apt utility, it would be for the wingnuts who get upset over this inoffensive shit.
I know that telling me to do that.
Shoulders back, tits out. No, that's your hips out.
Like that. Rawr, rawr.
Yeah, I'm sure if that gets posted, that'll make you look good.
Oh, this is all the outro. That was great. Rawr.
Good girl. Right?
What are we talking about?
That's all.
Dark Souls, yes. Now, it's very tempting because you see so many absurd takes over and over again. It's very tempting to get dragged back into the actual quote-unquote serious debate regarding easy modes in Souls games. It took a modicum of self-control to not become another one of the marks and give in to the allure of once again hiking up my skirt and wading through the swamp that is the Dark Souls easy mode debate. And what's really grim, what's really macabre, is that I know, even as I say this, the comments are filling up with debate points about easy modes in Dark Souls. We can't help ourselves. You're doing it right. Just stop typing now. Just stop. Walk away. Don't let it happen again, please. Or do. I mean, this channel's a dead duck. We could do with whatever little engagement we get these days. But seriously, I know that when I post this video, I'm going to be inundated with yet more of the same talking points over and over again, both against my complete apathy towards easy modes being in games, and in favour. It's all going to be the same bile, it's all going to be the same soup. And I'm just saying, you don't have to. You just don't have to. Because you know how it's going to end. It's not. The discourse will never end. The discourse will never end. But this video will. Right now, in fact. After I say, thank God for me. Watch this space for next week's episode. Why tripping should come back to Smash Brothers.
If you like a lot of calm on your biscuit, join our club. If you like a lot of on your biscuit, join our club. If you like a lot of calm on your biscuit, join our